Hi, everyone. So today I would like to answer a question to the best of my abilities from a subscriber that came in yesterday. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the most important part, the question. So this is from somebody who is on the spiritual path and would like to get closer to a teacher, because what he says is many masters of the past or of the present say that a person cannot reach enlightenment alone, that they need masters. I watch videos on masters on YouTube every day. I do my practices, but I don't see any gurus around me who would teach me. I would like to know what you think about this, whether my individual practices can be effective for awakening, or if a master will eventually appear at the right time, even against all odds. And so this is such an amazing question, and it just shows again how our mind can play such a trick on us. Because at the end of the day, awakening is something that is arising. It is happening. It is not something that you can study for, or that you can buy, or that you can practice so that you can get it. It's like, I'm going to the gym every day, so I'm going to get a six-pack. That is not how awakening is going to show up. Also, the idea of having a teacher is, in a lot of senses, the opposite of what non-duality is teaching, because a teacher is something outside of you, and that would never be able to create awakening. Although, of course, we want to get some knowledge in order to understand what's going on. So let me unravel this in my in 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 um in my train of thought. So first of all, the idea of having a teacher is, in my opinion, 100% true, because our mind is trying to fool us. So it's always good to have somebody outside of the jar. I always say you cannot read the label when you're in the jar. So it's always good to have somebody outside the jar who's helping you to identify when the mind is playing tricks on you, so just to keep you. Now, on track is also not really the right thing to say, but to keep you honest with yourself. A lot of people are fooling themselves because their mind is fooling them. Their mind is trying to tell them, oh, yes, you are enlightened, or no, you are not. Or is that little voice in your head that is trying to explain to you, you're there, you're not there. That is only a human construct. That's only our mind that is trying to fool us into believing something that is keeping us safe. Because the mind's job is not to expand our consciousness. The mind's job is to keep us in the old patterns, because as long as we're in the old patterns, then nothing happens to the mind. So it wants to keep us safe. So that's number one. Number two, at this time in history, let's say, we don't need somebody outside. We don't need a teacher to teach us about non-duality. There are so many books, there's so many videos. My subscriber is saying it also, like, I watch so many videos. So there is such an overload of information that having a teacher for that reason is definitely not necessary anymore in the time that we live in. On the other hand, being in the presence of somebody with a high consciousness can lift us up, like we're all one. When you are in the presence energetically of an enlightened person, then you definitely will feel your awareness going up. And I explained that multiple times. Like if you go to an event with a self-development teacher, an inspirational speaker, somebody who really is has realized it through nature, knows who they really are very like into have like the confidence and the connection with the divine. When you are in their presence, you will be lifted up and you will see things that you will not be able to see on your own, at least in the beginning. So if you want to get a glimpse of what can be possible, then it is always good. That's why people feel so inspired when they go to retreats, when they go to workshops and events, because the person who is the facilitator of that event, and also because you are together with such a group of people, like-minded people, the consciousness of that environment is like up and down is also like something that I prefer not to say, but it's the only way that I can explain that you will be lifted up. So you will see, like, it's as if the veils are, you get into a different realm and a veil is lifted and you get like a peek of what is possible for you. And then when the teacher or the guru goes away, then you fall back to your own normal level. You when you go to an event, the first couple of days, you're still very inspired, and then boom, you go down if you cannot keep it up on your own. So that if that has a good and a bad side. The good side is that you get a peek of what's possible, or possible what your next level could be. But the negative part is that it came from something outside of you, so you're not going to be able to sustain it. So therefore, my recommendation would be to let go of the idea of having a teacher, because it is just a concept, and concepts are not bringing you closer to your own recognizing of your true nature, to your own awakening. Your own awakening is going to come when you are aware in every second of the day. So even living in the moment can be a trick, because if you live in the moment by ignoring everything that is going on outside of you, that again is just a trick of the mind. So the better way of being in the moment is asking yourself, am I aware? Am I aware? This is something that I learned from Rhonda Byrne in The Greatest Secret, and that was what led to my moment. Asking myself a million times a day, am I aware? Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm aware. Am I aware? Yes, I'm aware. The awareness of being aware, when you when you start witnessing what's going on and you become aware of the idea, and an idea, it's not even, brings us not even closer again, but just the feeling of being aware is going to be your teacher. So you become your own teacher that way. And again, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, that having a teacher is bad, or that studying with somebody is bad. But in this time and age, I think it is more important to become part of a community with like-minded people. So if you're on my channel and I'm talking about it and I ask you to send in a question, and you do, because that at this moment, I wouldn't say I'm your teacher, because I am not, but I am feeding into the idea that I am helping you to realize your true nature by pointing you to something that you can use, so that you can be in awareness every second of the day by asking yourself, am I aware? Am I aware? Are you aware? Like if you are looking outside. If you lean back and sit in a chair, you lean back and you take a couple of deep breaths in and you ask yourself, in and out, of course, you ask yourself, am I aware? Then you're going to experience what's going on around you. What I'm now seeing, I see somebody that is on a pedal board on the lake. I see somebody else in a kayak. I see the ducks just landing on the water. And I'm aware of the fact that I have nothing to do with that. It's just there. It's just arising. And so the pedal board comes through just like a thought comes through. So I see something going through, and I see also a thought coming through. The idea of needing a teacher would come in handy just to sit with you and to allow you to connect with what the teacher is seeing, if that makes sense. Just understanding that you're part of the whole. As you are asking yourself, am I aware? You don't need a teacher to do that. And you can also just let go of the idea of having a teacher. If somebody would show up, fine. If nobody shows up, that's fine too. It's all okay. There's nothing to do. So I think the concept of having a teacher is just a concept. It's a trick of your mind to tell you that you can only get to enlightenment when you have a teacher. When you ask the question, do I need a teacher? Now, they tell me I need a teacher. It is just the projection of what's going on inside of your head. Your mind is trying to tell you that you can't get awakened because you don't have a teacher and you live in a place where there are no enlightened people. But in this time and age, you can listen or watch every video that you want, and you can just, every single person that you listen to is your teacher. And on the other side of that is also the idea that when you listen to people, you will find the evidence of what's going on inside of your head. So if you have the idea that you need a teacher, then people will show up telling you on all those videos and in all those books that you need a teacher. But if you let go of that idea, then all of a sudden teachers or people will show up and say, it's just a concept. You don't need it. You just have to ask yourself, am I aware? Am I aware in this moment? Who am I? What am I? Am I aware? And then you will just know. You will just know. And so the answer to your question, do I need a teacher? My answer is, if you believe you need a teacher, then that's your limited belief. If you believe you don't need a teacher, then that's your limited belief. There is no right or wrong. The only thing that is right is, are you aware in this moment, with or without a teacher? Because it doesn't make any difference. And of course, it's easy for me to say, because in my case, David Bingham showed up and he was pointing me in the right direction. And if that is what you are aiming for, then it will show up, even against all odds. So I hope this helps. I really hope that this helps, that you can see the futility of everything. There is no such thing as the right answer. And just not looking outside of yourself is a first step of waking up. If nothing outside of you is necessary to feel the awareness, to feel that you're aware in every moment of the day. And the way I feel and read your text, you're there. You are there in every moment. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Are you aware? That's it. Have a wonderful day, you guys. I really would like more questions. Also, like and subscribe. I'm in an uptrend. Don't let me down. Come on, let's go. And I am waiting for your questions. See you next time. Bye for now.